Hello everyone and welcome back to my kitchen. I'm Chef Sherry and today we're going to be making a creamy vegan mushroom barley soup. Why am I making soup today? It's spring because Dale said, could you make me a mushroom barley soup? And I said, yeah, I think I can. So we're going to make this wonderful recipe. Now this is a recipe that I got from Connoisseurus Veg. That's the website. I'll put that, the recipe on the YouTube channel under the description so that you can link to it, or I'll put the recipe there. Now, she used a 1/4 cup of olive oil in making this soup, but we don't use any oil in our cooking because we avoid any kind of processed food, so we're going to do it without that. So let me explain to you what I've done so far. It takes about 45 minutes for this soup to cook, and it's done that, and then there's a last step that I'm going to show you how to do. So all I did was I took a pound of mushrooms. I used portobello mushrooms and I chopped them. Then I took them and I put them into my soup pot back here and I dry sauteed them for about 5 minutes. You know how mushrooms sort of wilt and they start letting go of some of their liquid? Then you know they're ready to move on to the next step. So what I did was I took an onion and carrots and celery and garlic and I chopped them all up and I minced the garlic and I put them into the soup pot and I kept stirring and I let them cook, I think for about 15 minutes or so. Maybe about 5 minutes until everything was nice and soft. So after you do that, you take 1 cup of dry white wine and a teaspoon of thyme and I added that to the pot and I stirred that in. And I let that cook, I think, for about another 5 minutes because you want the wine to reduce by half. So it took about 5 minutes for that. So then the last part I did was I took 5 cups of this vegetable broth that is low sodium vegetable broth with no oil, and I added that to the pot. Along with, let's see, I added one more thing. Let me just read this. Oh, with the barley. It's mushroom barley soup. So I used this barley here, and I took a 1/2 cup of barley, and I put that into the pot. And then I left the lid off, and I brought it to a boil. And then I just let it simmer for 45 minutes. So that's where we're at now. Now we're going to do the finishing touches to the soup. So Dale, if you'll come around here, I can show everybody what the soup looks like to start with. And it makes, I think, just 4 servings. So if you want to make more, you would double this. So look how pretty that looks. This is what it looks like. It's very thick, and the barley has cooked. Now we're going to go over to my Vitamix, because the next step here is to take 1 cup of the soup from the pot, which I did, and I have 1 cup of vegetable broth that I put into my Vitamix blender. And I've got a half a cup of let me just check. Yeah, a half a cup of raw cashews that I boiled in water so that they could soften for about 15 minutes. Or you can soak them overnight. And 1 cup of my soup. Did I just make a mess? Oh, I sure did. Hold on 1 second. It's fine. I'll just clean that up here a little bit. Get my towel. You know, I'm the cook who likes to clean. I don't like a mess. Okay, that looks fine. Now it just says to blend this, so we're going to blend it. So hold your ears if you don't like the noise. And I'll put the lid on, of course. That would help. So as you can see, we're going to have sort of like a cream base now. You can see that, okay. Now we're going to go over here, and I'm going to pour it into the soup. Come back over here, Dale, if you wouldn't mind. I'm going to turn this on again on a low flame, and I'm going to start to add this. So here it comes. Here comes the cream sauce made with our soup. Back off a little bit, Dale. I'm going to, excuse me if you could just back off so I can get the rest of this in. Thank you so much. One of the things with the Vitamix is a little challenging sometimes to get it all out. But I want to get every last bit of goodness to go back into the soup here. Okay, that looks pretty good. And then I'm going to blend it, and I'm going to add the very last ingredient. And I'll do this first. I'm going to add this the soup creamy stuff in. Look how pretty that looks. That looks like a cream of mushroom soup, doesn't it, Dale?
Sure does.
The last step, and it's optional, is to add a little bit of miso paste that I've mixed with some Bragg's liquid aminos. So let me put that in. And actually, I'm going to use this to get it all out. Gives it just a little bit. There's no salt in here, so this is the only bit of salty tasting ingredient. And let me just stir it in. We're going to heat it up a little bit. I'll put this up a little higher. Oh, this is so pretty. Very beautiful soup. So it's you know, that much, so I would double it, I think. If you want to have leftovers, definitely double this recipe. Okay. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to get my little spoon and I'm going to taste it. See how it tastes. Wow. You know, it says you can add salt and pepper. You absolutely do not need it. So it is delicious. Now, let's come back over here. If you would want to go over there, I'm going to show how we're going to just get this into our bowl so everyone can see it. Get out my little ladle here. Okay. Can you see that soup? Okay, here it goes. Okay, this is our lunch today. Let's give you 2 big scoops because I know you can eat it. And that's what it looks like. Beautiful, beautiful. So I will post this recipe so that you can try it too. Have some nice fresh fruit. We're going to have our beautiful oranges with it. And maybe a couple of crackers. And that will be lunch for today. So have a wonderful day, everyone. And I'll see you next time in Chef Sherry's Plant-Based Kitchen. Take care, everyone.